Hi, welcome to the third in this series of 5 short webinars dealing with misconduct dismissals. My name is Gary Smith. I'm a partner in the employment team at Knockhold Solicitors. And in this webinar, we're going to look at misconduct that takes place outside of work and how that can be taken into account when looking to potentially dismiss an employee for misconduct. So the question that really crops up is, how does the misconduct away from the workplace attach itself to work such that it would be appropriate to consider dismissal? And the case there, 1976, Singh and London Country Bus Services Limited, so long as in some respect or other it affects the employee or could be thought to affect the employee when he is doing work, then an employer can rely upon it for the purposes of potentially dismissing the employer or certainly disciplining the employee. Examples can include violence, sexual conduct, dishonesty. Social media is a big one now, and also conduct more generally, which may bring the employer's name into disrepute. And any of the 4 things above that could fall into that final 5th sweeping, all-encompassing element. So an example then using violence, well, the Eggleton and Kerry Foods, 1996, an employee was dismissed for fighting a colleague off site. It was a fight over a girlfriend, and it clearly affected the working relationship because the other employee, the victim, could no longer feel safe to attend their place of work, and so it was justified in dismissing Eggleton as a result, even though the fight took place away from the workplace. Social media is a particular challenge now, and the law has been slow really to catch up with the quick changes in social media over the last 10 to 15 years or so. And again, whether a post or a social media article or video is work-related will depend on the facts of the case. Employers shouldn't take a disproportionate view of the potential damage that could be caused simply because it doesn't cast them in the best light. The reality is that in any employment relationship, an employer has to expect and tolerate a degree of rumbling and grumbling about decisions that are made, things employees don't agree with. But there is this spectrum, isn't there, of how serious that is. Is what the employee has done or said or posted on social media so bad as to warrant a potential dismissal or a disciplinary sanction? It's also relevant what you've instructed the employee or the employees to do or not do in social media. If you've given an explicit instruction not to talk about work, then that could make the employee's post about work that bit more serious in all the circumstances. Now, a couple of examples. So in this case, Whittam and Club 24 Limited commented, "I think I work in a nursery and I don't mean working with plants. Don't worry, takes a lot for the bastards to grind me down." Now, the tribunal in this instance held that the comments were relatively mild. I'm not sure that that second one particularly is, but in this case, the comments were relatively mild and the dismissal was held to be unfair. In an alternative case, Laws and Game Retail Limited, 28 offensive, expletive-ridden and obscene tweets were made. A particularly serious factor was that 65 of the employer's stores followed Laws on Twitter So these tweets and these comments went far and wide within the business, and the dismissal in that instance was considered to be fair. So there is a spectrum of behavior outside of the workplace that can give rise to potential misconduct or disciplinary proceedings at work. It does come down to degree and how serious their behavior is and how it attaches to work, but it isn't something that employers don't have to sit there and just say, oh, well, it happened out of work, it's nothing to do with me. It can have an effect. So thank you for joining me for this webinar. If you have any questions or anything comes up on any of these webinars, please do get in touch. We'd love to hear from you. And the next webinar will be on criminal conduct and how employers should handle that in a disciplinary. Hopefully you can join us. Thank you.